Thank you. Mr. President, with all, I come from Afghanistan, and as a journalist who lives and works here, I see a huge difference between you are seeing and the realities in Afghanistan. You here talking of justice, while the worst kind of systematic discrimination is applied against Hazara people in your administration. You talk of democracy, while the largest peaceful civilian protests, including millions of citizens in Kabul, were suppressed by bombs and bullets. Mr. President, you here in the presence of the world, leaders talk of fighting corruption, while the most of accused official in corruption in your administration is does not arrested or tried, and the bloody attack on peaceful civilian protests on 12th August at Demazang Square in Kabul city is very skeptical. But you evading the responsibility to investigate the tragedy. And also, Mr.
Can you
President,
please wrap up the question, please?
Yes. I ask you, Mr. President, Mr. Gulbuddin Hikmatyar is one is the most brutal and bloodthirsty terrorist, but you want to bring him in the government just for strengthening your ethnic support. With all this, I ask you, without justice and without respect to civilian protests and civilian rights, how you support democracy and you support yes, you support democracy?
Excellent question. Thank you. Unlike you, I believe in democracy, not in accusations. So let me first put the case. Not a single person has been arrested for a protest. Two, the people who blew up the protesters were Daesh, and Daesh took responsibility for it. There's a full commission for investigation. The people who directed were warned by the chief of the Kabul police, the Kabul garrison, the Director General of National Directorate of Security of the threats. American University was attacked. Was that ethnic? The police were blown up. Was that ethnic? You need to have criteria of judgment. For a journalist, you seem to have made up your mind instead of looking at facts. It is important to understand. The second vice president of Afghanistan is Hezare. The head of the Human Rights Commission of Afghanistan is Hezare. The largest amount of infrastructure investment in Afghanistan, over $8 billion, over close to $1 billion, $800 million in roads, is devoted to central Afghanistan. The protest started over a transmission line that had been decided by the past administration, over a 500 kV line. We have allocated 300 megawatts of power to Bamyan. Kabul today gets that for 20, the needs of Bamyan previously were allocated 1 megawatt from solar. We have allocated 300 megawatts. This is an indication of our even-handed commitment. You've had a right of protest. You've called every Afghan names. You've insulted, but the tolerance of the government is exceptional. We remain committed because you have a right to due process and to freedom of press. Our press is ranked among the top freest in the country. Is there a single television station here, and there are people from the press that is censored, that we've ever approached? Instead, when journalists have been threatened, isn't it first and foremost that you're called to the national security? So as a young person, I invite you to investigate, to compare, and when you make accusations, be proven. Are you willing to put these accusations in a court of law, bring them in front of the Justice Center. If the Justice Center judges your accusations right, I'll punish any person and I'll take responsibility. But are you willing to take an open trial and make your accusations, and then if you're judged to be maligning, to be bringing false charges, that you are imprisoned and go and pay for false accusations in maligning your country? That's my invitation to you as an open democratic president, an elected president that believes in freedom and rule of law.